So you notice this is a very big building here with lots of consultants and partners of EY, and we have the privilege now to welcome I think one of the most interestingly specialized partner of them. Please welcome our location host, Moritz Pawelke.
Thank you very much. So already very great speeches around how AI will basically change the way that we're living and we're working and how we steer our teams. So what I've brought with me today is a topic that I'm currently discussing a lot with DAX corporates and MDAX corporates, and I'm consulting basically for the last 10 years CIOs in the large corporate and MDAX segment, how they can actually transform through, it was data and analytics, data science, ML, and then obviously now AI and agentic AI. And we're doing this for life sciences and for industrials and energy. So that's my basic, what I do on a daily basis. And I think it's important to mention that, and this is why I have this visual on here with the journey to the agentic enterprise. You see this caterpillar and you see the butterfly. I think what we're currently doing with AI most of the time as we're faster caterpillars. Are we really developing into butterflies yet with what we're doing with AI? I totally get it. Everything has a business case, yeah. And obviously, efficiency is the most important thing, where you see the fastest return on investment, yeah. But I think it's also important, like from a philosophical perspective, to think about how do we actually need to change our whole corporates in the future? How do we need to reimagine our complete enterprises to actually be butterflies in the future with those advancements that we have around AI? Yeah, and what I typically see is there's this fantastic vision of agentic. There's this agentic reality, the caterpillar that I just referenced to, and then there's my personal agentic outlook, and that's what I wanted to discuss with you today. Hopefully later than in more detail, but for now, I think the agentic vision, and I think this is clear. Unlike any other technology, agentic is really transformational. So it's not a switch. Yeah, it's not something that you can do from one day to another. It will take time that we might not have because advancements are so fast. Yeah, and what I see, and it's a study from MIT, and I see this in my projects as well a lot, is like only 5% of the initiatives around AI are actually going into production and are measurable on a global, on a corporate level, because they're not strongly connected to strategy, governance, and the operating model and people. Yeah, so the same topic I think it came up earlier. Talk about people. Yeah, talk about target operating models, because this is something that will need to be fixed in the same manner and in parallel to make this advancement happen. And I mean, you can look at it, and you already said it in his prior speeches. So most of the companies, at least in my personal opinion, yeah, on this journey, are somewhere between active and operational. At least that's what I see at the moment. Yeah, and this means obviously not just experimenting with AI, yeah, but really driving in a centralized model, have those digital analytics hubs or have those tech centers and all this build up. So I think this is exactly where we are at the moment, but there needs to be a way further down the road to actually get through this transformational journey to real higher realized value. And as I said, this is a tech topic, but if you just look at the left with those yellow layers, only the three bottom layers are the ones that I see as technologically driven, while the other ones above are actually very much driven from the top. And I think this is highly important. And what I basically try to define for myself is, what am I doing for the next 5 years if I do those projects? It's basically reducing white collar work. That's basically what I do. So it's not blue collar work that we're basically trying to make more efficient. It's really white collar work that's going to change significantly. So I have clients who are actually envisioning over the next 3 to 5 years to reduce their workforce by 80%, yeah, through agentic AI. And this is obviously a huge stretch, and there's a long way to go, but this is actually the ambitious targets that some corporates set for themselves, yeah, with agentic AI. And this is not in the IT departments, it's really around finance, tax, legal, compliance, and all these other group functions that there might be beyond the traditional, let's say, engineering and value creation processes. So the central functions where we see a lot of potential in this. And this is actually what we're also consulting at the moment a lot, yeah. And I mean, I'm maybe preaching to the choir here, but I think what I've realized over the past 10 years is that this automation evolution around robotics and process automation, and on the right-hand side, like this typical descriptive statistics and traditional narrow AI, this really now merges into agentic AI. And I think this is like the butterfly in the end from those caterpillars that we had over the last couple of years. Yeah, and if everything merges to agentic AI, I think it's important to mention that like the step with Gen AI was already tremendous. Yeah, but I think what happens with the actions that those agents can take, and this is like something that you might probably know, but I think this is really the big game changer that we have here for central corporates functions and also for software development. Is it's really acting on not just giving back text, and this is really something that we implement already at a lot of clients. For instance, automated invoice processing. So basically, an agent looking at an invoice, automatically seeing if the invoice is correct, knowing all the details, and then basically just handing this over to an SAP system in the end. And there's not a human. There's maybe a human in the loop in terms of anomaly detection. Yeah, but basically this happens with zero touch. Yeah, and this is where we're currently heading with agentic AI. As I already said, this will complement the workforce, so we also need to think about some kind of a hire to retire process for agents as well, because this is also part of our future reality. We will have physical workforce and we have agent workforce. So this is something that we need to take into consideration, because not every agent will live or be part of an agentic ecosystem for a long time. So we need to make this also a journey. Yeah. As I said, it will free up a lot of FTE. It will free up a lot of capacity to actually look into more value-driven tasks. Yeah. And it's there 24/7. And I think this is also a very amazing fact that is for us really the game changer here. And now what does that mean for software? So if software ate the world, agents are eating the interface. So basically what we're currently envisioning is really that AI agents in all over the place in corporates will definitely be a user interface, and it might be the case that software and SaaS and all these interfaces were currently maybe in ServiceNow or in any other kind of like classical user interface of a software as a service, those clicks and those forms and all these different approvals and workflows will just disappear. And basically, most of the softwares that we see at the moment in the CRM system, they might completely disappear or be just silent data storage utilities. Yeah. So basically, there will be data in there. There will be a business logic in there. But is there really a interface or software interface GUI level layer that is needed if you have an agent that basically works on top of it? Yeah. And this is a tremendous change. Yeah. And we'll also need a completely different workforce also in the IT departments to actually make this happen. Yeah. So there will be not just ML ops. There will be some kind of agentic ops that will need to be implemented to make this actually a reality. And in the end, this just is my hypothesis for this. So from SaaS to IaaS, yeah. So actions as a service. So basically moving from paying for tools to paying to autonomous actions. So that completely switches the way that this all works. Yeah. So from just digitalizing a manual process to really automating it. Yeah. So no complex dashboards anymore. Dashboarding is dead. Reporting is dead. It's basically an ad hoc, natural language or no UI interface. So really talking to a bot, maybe this bot already produces a dashboard with the certain information that is necessary for in this specific time, and not having somewhere people working on standardized dashboards that might not be of use, because that's what I see a lot of dashboards and a very less adoption of those dashboards, for instance, for insights generation. And pricing will also be completely different. So the subscription model will also disappear. Basically what we're currently seeing, and this is the example of the agents that we're currently developing also for like automated invoice processing. Basically you do not pay this software or this platform by license fees, how many users or anything like that. You basically pay per outcome. So it's just €1 per invoice. If you have 20,000 invoices, you know how much this platform is going to cost you. Yeah, so I think this is also a major switch that's currently happening. And what I feel, I think, is it's hard to explain, in particular to C-levels, how agentic AI looks like, because they're always asking us for demos, how this actually looks like, and I tell them, you will not be able to see it if it works. Yeah. So basically, the only thing that we will have in the future is a user interface for anomaly detection. Yeah. And hopefully, there will not be a lot of anomalies. Yeah. So zero user intervention is actually the success factor of all these kind of agents that there might be in the future corporate core. And I think this is a very much changed environment that we're looking for. Yeah. But what's the reality? Yeah. So this is obviously the vision, and everyone wants me to talk about how great AI can be, but I'm a very realistic person, based on the fact that I spent my whole career, the last 20 years, exactly moving from data 1.0 to 3.0, because everything that is fueling those agents and these insights that we wanted to have generated in our corporations are obviously based on data. Yeah, and obviously, the era of the stack is over. Then we somehow converted into this era of the lake, yeah, data 2.0. So everything just resides in a data lake, and hopefully someone who doesn't know the business context will make sense out of it. Didn't work, yeah. But this is basically where we're still somehow in. And I think if we want to make agentic AI happen, also in IT, there needs to be a switch from data 2.0 to 3.0. So basically, the era of data autonomy. Yeah, so really that agents can use data, and also software can use data where it's already predefined, that it's right, that it's governed, and that it has the proper quality. And this is the real challenge. Because basically the physics or the laws of physics for data changed. So Newtonian physics, it worked for quite a while. It was deterministic, and I think this is the same for traditional software. Yeah, it was deterministic. It was quite clear: input A, outcome B, linear and rule-based. And this suddenly is not true anymore when we talk about agentic. Yeah, because it's the same like with Einstein's relativity theory. Just with this, we built those atomic clocks, and GPS was able to work. Yeah, and it basically is a completely different approach to things. And this is exactly what AI is for us. That doesn't mean that we don't need this deterministic part anymore, but we need to think about the paradigm shift here, that AI demands a new model of how we manage data. And in the end, all the softwares that we're producing are basically using data, because this is why we're actually doing it, because we want to generate insights or services based on this data. Yeah, and this is the broken waterfall. We had this waterfall discussion already prior to this, yeah. And this is just not working for AI applications anymore. So it can't be the case that there's some guy providing infrastructure that takes 1 week to months. There's not, and then you have manual handoffs between someone who ingests data and then someone who transforms it. And then after the fact, someone is governing this data when it's already too late. Yeah, and then after the checked fact governance leads to this friction and misunderstanding and delays. And this leads to this, how I call it, squishy, complex hairball. Yeah, so you have the underlying systems. Then you have a lot of patches, and then you have a lot of different things. Maybe you have a data catalog here, you have a database here, and it takes weeks to months, while our user interface layer actually wants us to have information in a minute, or an agent could change, or we could implement an agent in minutes. So maybe you've used those tools already to build agents. This is not like a lengthy task that you need to do. Yeah, it can be quite easily done if you have the right ecosystem. Yeah, and this is exactly the problem we have. Even if we have this agentic enterprise framework and we have all this already set, if we do not work on this squishy hairball here, we will not actually deliver on the promise that we made with agentic AI. And it's existential, right? Shit in, shit out was the past. Now it's shit in, disaster out, to be quite honest. Yeah. So because if agents work with flawed data over and over again, this will really create huge problems. Yeah. And so we need to think about this now, because we can develop agents and we can develop automated workflows and they will work from a technological perspective, but if business semantics and the governance is not implemented into the data that's used in those softwares, we really have a catastrophic outcome. And I think this is what we actually need to convey as a message also to management, who's basically driven by this buzzword of AI and what it actually can do for you and why is that not working. And I thought this is easy. I did this with GPT myself, put a PDF in there, and then it suddenly worked. And then the answer is usually a bit more complex why we can't do this in an enterprise architecture, right? And I think this is your daily reality. And Outlook. Because I think I need to speed up, right? But as you're not standing, I'm still in good in time. So, and I think we've already solved this in the past, how we can actually treat data in the future. And we've applied that already. So encapsulation, yeah, abstraction and automation. And this can also translate to data 3.0. And the way that it can translate is by introducing just a new topic of so data mesh and data products, I think, is something that you might be aware of based on already a lot of things that you've done in your corporates. But data 2.0 just brought up data products in a very old-fashioned way with this broken waterfall. And basically this autonomous data product, the difference is that it's self-contained, that it's intelligent and runnable, and a runnable unit that's really encapsulated so that it can really be they can say you have everything within this data product, and this is a polyglot interface. So because we do not need a REST API, maybe we just need some kind of other SQL connection or whatever. Yeah. So it needs to be polyglot in this case to talk to different agents or a dashboard or a database. The governance and the conditions need to be built in right before. So it needs to be in this data product. That governance needs to be built in order to not be in the situation to have this catastrophe out in the end. And then obviously semantic and business logic, important part, because this is what's missing in the data 2.0 world, that basically the data resides somewhere and the business logic is not really attached to it. Yeah, so this is also this topic of knowledge graphs and really combining semantics with actual data, and this is what makes this data product work. Yeah. So from squishy hairball to interconnected mesh of autonomous data products, it's quite a journey. It's an important one because otherwise agentic will not work. Yeah, and I think this is also something that needs to be taken into consideration for the future. That the data foundation, and we all know how messy data foundations still are in our corporates. Yeah, that this needs to change to make actually agentic AI work. And one important part about the human, because it's a human in the loop discussion that Jürgen already mentioned. Yeah, it's not like that there will be no human. Yeah, because it's also a compliance factor, but it shifts from plumber to designer. So basically, the human will be there in the beginning to define. So exactly the same narrative that we already heard. Yeah, and in the end, the autonomous data products will work when the human has defined the rules and the semantics, implemented the transformation logic, and then it can actually go to work. Yeah, this is the background here. Yeah, and just to summarize this, what does that mean? From storage first to semantic first. So this is not an IT topic. So what we're currently doing is we're helping CIOs to actually go to the business and make this a business-led and business-driven project. Yeah, to be not disconnected to this. So semantics first is only something that you can achieve if you have actually the people and subject matter experts from the different fields, maybe finance or whatever, within your team of when you're doing this. Modality, it's not just a data or a table or a file in a database. It's really in different polyglot interfaces. Yeah, and it's autonomous and self-orchestrating and not a central brain. I think this is also important because this is still something that I hear a lot. There needs to be a central data platform. There needs to be a single point of truth. And I think in this way that this is set up, it is not necessary because we have this a lot, this discussion. Is it a Databricks on AWS? Is it an Azure Microsoft Fabric environment, or is it something completely different? And I would say it can be all. Just what matters is the governance that's around it, and that needs to be the automated way to do it. And the reasoning built into each product or not after the fact, because that's what I have a lot as well, is the data products are not accepted by the business because they don't trust it. So getting this trust level up is one of the major things for the real adoption. Yeah? And governance, one of the most important topic over the last couple of years, but nobody actually bought it. Yeah, so because it was just a lame topic, yeah, more or less, and it's not sexy. Yeah, and everyone wants to talk about AI, but basically governance is the most important part in this whole picture. Yeah, and obviously, we will not be able to build up teams that do this governance. It's not a SharePoint list, or it's not a Jira or a Confluence page that describes those things. It needs to be computationally enforced and embedded in the code, yeah? Because otherwise we will completely be overwhelmed by everything that will come up over the next years to come. Yeah? This ends my talk, and I'm happy to hand over to Ursula if she's there. Yeah. Because Ursula is also part of EY and working with Seerene as well, and will just quickly give us a little intro on that. Yeah.
Okay, I need to fix the slide. Or muss ich mich zurücknehmen? So forward is this black one, right? Yeah. Let me just try. Does not work? Help, help, help. Yeah. Huh? Oh, okay. And backwards? Huh? Wie denn? Hilf mir mal.
Zurück geht's ja
unten. Oh, okay. Good. So actually I don't have, do you hear me? Yes. So actually I don't have like a whole speaker slot. I just borrowed a couple of minutes from my colleague to introduce myself. So I'm from EY as well. So normally I'm from an organization dealing with cloud transformation. So why am I here? So just want to share two thoughts with you. So when it comes to cloud transformation, in the last, I don't know, 15 or 10 years, it used to be like designing a cloud platform and then moving everything to the cloud. And when it came to resources, provisioning resources, or even dealing with FinOps, it was all about, yeah, what did you need in the past and what are you needing now? And this has shifted like really immensely, because now we are looking at the application. What does your application do? How does it do it? And why does it do it? And if we look at that, then let me just briefly here. And this, we have two approaches where we end up at this application or software factory. And this, of course, mostly applies to industries which have like digital products, like financial industry, because mostly they have an in-house software factory, which is not like by design, but which has grown over time, right? So they have a couple of challenges we can solve, of course. So if we look at that, that's the first approach. So if we see inefficiency, and this is based on the approach Seerene offers, like this platform, which detects like inefficiency, where efficiency and money is spent. So we, of course, we end up at this point here, where we say we need to look at why is this happening, where is it happening, and what can we do about it. So we end up at this. As you see, the blue one, this is the code landscape, the team, so this is our software factory. And the next approach is what I already told you. If we come from designing a cloud platform and we want to learn how do we need to size it, and this applies to database, to maybe a Kubernetes cluster, we need to look at the application. What is the application doing? How is it doing it? And why is it doing it? And it all goes down. We always end up these 5 layers, which I showed here. So it's the business layer, of course, the application, integration points. So we need to talk, for example, about requirements engineering. This is a very, I think, interesting and important topic. And when we talk about requirements engineering, we talk about why is your software doing, what is it doing? And the next thing is, of course, we talk about the application itself. We talk about the code. And I don't want to dwell too deep into this coding topic, but for example, you need to learn, and then it comes back to designing your infrastructure platform. It's of course how is the processes you are programming, even it's Java or PL/SQL, executed on the database. It spends time, this costs money, so we need to solve that as well. And of course, we talk about the architecture, the integration points. So you need to look at all these layers and try to optimize them. And of course, you can do that AI-based as well, but that's the future, right? Because when we're dealing with these challenges we have at our customers, we're in the present and they're not there yet, right? So they maybe have some tools, AI-based tools. For example, if it comes to testing, you can use their tools which can maybe help you create a regression test based on a code commit, right? But of course, and then it comes to governance as well, and ownership, and some, how to say, like compliance layer we need. Yeah, we already talked about that. So that's our approach, and this is just a thought I wanted to share with you. So originally we were dealing with cloud projects like cloud transformation, but now we're here and talking about the software factory, because I think, and the focus shifted with the companies we're working with as well. So they're looking at this, right? And because if it rumbles down there, it will rumble up there at the sea layer as well. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ursula. Are there any questions?
Yeah, thank you for this presentation, and I really love it because I'm propagating the idea of these autonomous data objects. Since 30 years now, we call it engineering objects, and we build systems around that. What makes you confident that it will work this time? Because until today, we did not succeed in getting this idea into the heads of the organizations, yeah, and the management, and still they have departments that do electrics here and engineering there and software for electronic control units here in another site, maybe even in another country, and they tell us we cannot bring that together today because we have so much to do here and so much to do there. And now you come up with AI and say, hey, that will make it possible. What makes you confident that it works this time?
This is a very good question, and yeah, those concepts are around for a while, and it's just about the message and the narrative that you need to send. So I totally agree, and I think the most important point, and this is my personal experience from the last really 2 weeks. Yeah? So talking to really a big client. So AI is this one pivotal moment in time where actually the top management is asking for someone like me to present to him what my thoughts are. And I'm the same as you, this person who always was like, maybe it's a tech topic, it's not really a business topic, maybe it doesn't work because of X, Y, Z. Yeah. So like this, we have now this moment in time where we actually have the possibility to actually escalate to the top what actually our idea is, and to also tell the C-level how it actually will work. And this is what I'm currently doing. I'm basically translating what on a technological level is possible and where this is going to really CEO. So basically coaching the CIO to be able to tell the CEO what he had, what's in for the company when it comes to AI. And this will trickle down to all these effects, and this will be why it will work this time. Yeah. Because they're listening. They're really listening. And I had a CEO spend 10 minutes with me on an architectural slide, which was basically not an architectural slide for anyone who's into technology. But even that is something that showed me, okay, they're really listening at the moment. Yeah, because it's so pivotal.
Like every good party, you end up in the kitchen. Let's do the same. And Moritz, please answer the next questions in the kitchen. Let's have a coffee.